let me solve one more problem, very easy problem. Okay, first let me read out the question, then I'll be solving. If a stock price increased by 20% in the first year and 15% in the second year and the 5%, say first is 20%, then 15%, then 5% fall in the third year, what is the average? Very, very simple solution. The average we have to take, that is first year increase in 20% plus 15% minus 5 whole divided by 3. Why 3? 3 years. It's an average. What is the average growth rate they are asking? Very, very simple. That is 35 minus 5 is 30. 30 upon 3. That is 10% average growth rate in arithmetic mean. Very, very simple. Yes. Now we'll move to an important concept called as dividend discount model. First, let me tell you what is the basic of this, then we'll start understanding this. See, uh, in the case of any investor, what will be your expectation? If you being an investor in any shares, what will be your expectation? Two things. One is dividends, second is capital gain. So, in order to buy in the market, say when you take a decision to buy in a secondary market, so what you need to do? You need to analyze, because first of all, what we are studying, security analysis. The topic is security analysis, correct? So before you buy any company shares, you are going to analyze, right? So now the question comes, how to analyze? ಇವಾಗ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇನ್ಫೋಸಿಸ್ ಶೇರ್ 2000 ರೂಪೀಸ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ. ನೀವು ಬೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕೋ ಬೇಡ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಇಟ್. ವೆರಿ, ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. Now in this topic we'll understand how to analyze whether to buy or not. Okay, so by finding out intrinsic value, present value of that particular script, then you will decide whether to buy or not. Is it clear? Are understanding? Okay, so before you buy any share in the stock market, you need to analyze. What you are going to analyze? The intrinsic value. 2000 ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯಬೇಕು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಅದು ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯೋದು ಹೇಗೆ? ಬೈ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಸೊ the first, that is dividend discount model, right? There are about 5 models we are going to discuss and 5 different formulas. Are you ready now? So before that, very, very fundamental concept you should understand. So in the bond, what will be the return for you? What is your expectation if you buy bond? Interest. Then what? Capital gain. Right? So in case of bond, whether interest is same year on year or it varies. Bonds, on bonds. So every year interest on bonds are same. There is no variation. Now, my question to make you understand, how about dividends on the shares? Every year it will be same? Every year it changes. So a lot of difference in finding intrinsic value of bonds, whereas in order to, the procedure we need to follow in order to find out the intrinsic value of shares are very much different, because every year dividend may change. ಬಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಎವ್ರಿ ಇಯರ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಸೇಮ್. ಸೊ ಆರಾಮ್ಸೆ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂನ ತಗೊಂಡು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾವು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಹಾಗೆ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎವ್ರಿ ಇಯರ್ ದ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಮೇ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಹೇಗಿರ್ತದೆ, ಗ್ರೋತ್ ರೇಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ದ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಮೇ ಗ್ರೋ ಫಾರ್ 10%, 20%, or ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇಷ್ಟಿರ್ತದೆ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇಷ್ಟಿರ್ತದೆ, ಥರ್ಡ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇಷ್ಟಿರ್ತದೆ. Correct? So, and one more difference when compared to bond in shares is there is nothing called as maturity. Bonds ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರ್ತದೆ, ಮೆಚುರಿಟಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ, 5 years, 10 years. ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರ್ತದೆ, ಮೆಚುರಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟೇ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ until you sell it. So there is a concept called as holding period. There is no concept called as maturity. Is it clear? ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ. ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ವಾಟ್, ಹೋಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್. ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್? ಮೆಚುರಿಟಿ ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ಎವ್ರಿ ಇಯರ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಮೇ ವೇರಿ, ಮೇ ಚೇಂಜ್. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್? ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ಸ್ ಕಲಿತೀವಿ. So that is what we are going to learn one by one. Is it fine? Shall we learn? So let me read out. Dividend discount model, DDM, are valuation method used to determine the intrinsic value. Intrinsic value is nothing but what? Present value. Okay? Value of a stock by calculating the present value of all its future expected dividend payment. ಸೊ ಇಂಟ್ರೆನ್ಸಿಕ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನಮಗೆ ಬರುವಂತ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೋ, ನಮಗೆ ಬರುವಂತ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ನ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಷ್ಟೇ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? ಸೊ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಬಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ನಮಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಬರುವಂತ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇವತ್ತಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿತೀವಿ. ಹಾಗೆ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ದ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ಸ್, expected dividends and the present value of that expected dividends. So year on year shares ಮೇಲೆ ಏನ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ನಮಗೆ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಬರುವಂತ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಯರ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ಬೋದು. ಇವತ್ತಿಗೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆನ್ಸಿಕ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ, calculating the present value of its future expected dividend payments. So this model operates on the principle that the current value of a share should be sum of its, see, try to understand. So sum of its future income. ಮುಂದೆ ಬರುವಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ಸ್ ನ ಸಮ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕೌಂಟೆಡ್ back to today's terms at an investor required rate of returns. This is very important. Required rate of returns, RRR. ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಬಾಂಡ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇಮ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ಯು ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್, ಫಾರ್ ಮೀ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಮೈ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ 15%. ಯುವರ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ 20% or less than that. Individual required rate of return changes. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? This is variable, required rate of return as per the individual person, right? So dividends ಬಂದಿರುವಂತದ್ದು, ಮುಂದೆ ಬರುವಂತ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಹೆಂಗ್ ನೋಡ್ತೇವೆ? ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್. We are going to discount the future cash flow on the basis of required rate of return to this present time, right? And also if there is a selling price that is also be calculated. 5 years ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಸೆಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಇಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, right? Is it clear? So one point to remember, dividend may change year on year, correct? So then there is nothing called as maturity value in this. We call it as a holding period until you hold that share. So you're going to calculate up to that. And all the dividends what you receive in the future, you're going to discount it to the present time by considering your own ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್. ಯಾವ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತದೋ ಆ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟಿಗೆ ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿತೀವಿ. ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ಸೊ ನಾವ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್, ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್. So what is the models we learn? So there are 5 models. Okay, there are 5 models, starting with single period valuation model, multiple period model, constant growth model, 2-stage growth model, and the 3-phase model. Dividend discount model. 5 models we're going to learn. Let us understand the first one, single period valuation model, and even you can write down the formula. So we'll learn one by one. Let us start with single period valuation model. So what does it assumes? It is assumed that investor holds the stock for only a year. The model assumes you're going to use this model when the investor hold a stock or a share, okay, for only 1 year. 1 year matra, right? And the return occurs at the end of the period. And this is the formula. So what is this D1? See, P0 means the present selling price, that is present value. Okay, D1 is the dividend received during the 1 year holding period. And what is P1? Selling price at the end of the 1 year. This is selling price. So we are going to discount it. 1 plus R rise to 1. Because it is 1 year, right? 1 plus R rise to 1. Actually 1 plus R ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, rise to 1. Why 1? 1 year it is. Correct. So 1 plus R rise to 1. That's it. So D1 stands for dividend we are going to receive, and P1 stands for the selling price at the end of the first year. Both will be received at the end of the period. So we are going to find out the intrinsic value of that stock which you are going to hold for a year. So this model we are going to use, once again I am telling, this model will be used if the investor holds that script or a stock for only 1 year. Multi-period model, the second model, multi-period model. So what does it mean? That is, if the investor holds that stock more than 1 year. When the investor holds more than 1 year. When the investor holds a stock more than 1 year. It may be 2 years, it may be 3 years, it may be 5 years, we don't know, right? If the situation comes, then we are going to use this model in order to find out the intrinsic value of that stock. So let me explain this formula, very simple. See, this summation up to n year. If it is 3 years, so there will be having 3, D1, D2, D3. Very, very simple. If it is 5 year, D1, D2, D3, D4, D5. Is it clear? So the expansion, summation n I is equal to 1, D1 upon 1 plus R rise to 1. This is rise to 1. Then for the second year it will be what? Rise to 2, right? Plus, what is P? The selling price. You can sell it more than your purchase price or less than the purchase price, whatever. So Pn divided by 1 plus R rise to nth year. If we are selling it, your stock, third year, n will become 3. Clear? So the expansion, D1 upon 1 plus R rise to 1, D1 upon 1 plus R rise to 2, plus D1 upon 1 plus R rise to 3. Okay, if it is 3 years, then n is equal to 3. You should stop up to 3. Dot, 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 that is what, right? And last one, that is nth year, it may be 3, 4, 5, whatever. And that year also, what you do? You sell. Correct? The selling price, right? That should be also discounted, and we have to sum up. That is the intrinsic value or a present value of that particular stock. Done. This is multi-period. See, the first one, what is the first one? Single period. What is the assumption? The investor will be holding the stock for a 1 year. Then, next, multi-period model. Correct? So, third model, very important. So, continuation of this. I mean, the second model only, continuation. In multi-period, you know what happens? But don't worry about this formula. Very easy it is. ನೋಡಕ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ದೊಡ್ಡದು, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಬಹಳ ಈಸಿ ಇದೆ. ನಾ ಈಸಿ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಓಕೆನಾ? ಆರಾಮ್ ಜ್ಞಾಪ ಇಟ್ಕೋತೀರಿ, ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಿಗ್. Now please, before you write, listen me out. When you are writing, if you feel it is difficult, it will be difficult. Okay, so my duty is to make you easy. After making easy only, then you can write. Is it okay? Right. See, multi-period ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅದೇನು, ಎಸ್ ಎಸ್ assumption is every year same dividend. So now, which is not possible, correct? That's why we are learning this. Are understanding? See, yes, very good, very smart. See, previously D1, D1, D1. What is the meaning of that? Same. Is it possible? That's why we have this formula. Right? So, what this model or this formula tells you? It says dividend may increase, or it assumes dividend will be like this for first 2 years. So when we have all those parameters, then we are going to use this formula. So what are the things? They will be given, okay, earning per share, EPS ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, EPS. So EPS is denoted by E naught. Dividend payout ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 60%, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಪೇ ಔಟ್ 60%, ಅಂದ್ರೆ 0.6 ಅಂತ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಡಿ ಬೈ ಇ, this part D by E is dividend payout ratio. Okay, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? See, what do you mean by EPS? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನದು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್? Can anyone say that? Can anyone say anyone? So that should be given to that particular. ಅಂದ್ರೆ EPS ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಪರ್ ಶೇರ್, ಒಂದು ಶೇರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ 100 rupees ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನದು, ಒಂದು ಶೇರ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ 100 rupees ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಗಿವನ್ ಟು ವಾಟ್, ಈಚ್ ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್. ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಪರ್ ಶೇರ್. ಸಿ, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್? Dividend is a profit which will be shared among all the shareholders. What is EPS? Earning per share. ಒಂದು ಶೇರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಅದನ್ನ ಯಾರು ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಿ? ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ? It is a decision of the company. So if the earning per share is 100 rupees, they can take a decision of paying 60%, that is 60 rupees. ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಇನ್ನ 40 rupees ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? Retain earnings. They again reinvest in the business. So we call that as a dividend payout ratio. Sometimes it may be 100%, it may be sometimes 50%, it may be 9, whatever, depending upon the requirement of the funds for the company, they take a decision. So that is D by E. D by E ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಪೇಔಟ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ. ಡಿ ಬೈ ಇ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ರಿ? ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಪೇಔಟ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ. ಇ ನಾಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ರಿ? EPS. EPS ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಪರ್ ಶೇರ್. ಸೋಮೇಶ್, ಇ ನಾಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಡಿ ಬೈ ಇ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಶಿವು? ಇವಾಗಿನ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ. ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಪೇಔಟ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇ ನಾಟ್ ಶಿವು? ಇ ನಾಟ್ ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಪರ್ ಶೇರ್. ಡಿ ಬೈ ಇ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಪೇಔಟ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ. ಯಶವಂತ್, ಡಿ ಬೈ ಇ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಇ ನಾಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಪರ್ ಶೇರ್. ಇ ನಾಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಪರ್ ಶೇರ್. ಡಿ ಬೈ ಇ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಪೇಔಟ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ. ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್. ಸೊ 1 ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಜಿ. ಜಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ರೇಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ರೇಟ್ is 10%. They'll be saying every year there will be a dividend growth in the dividend 10%, 15%. So that is called as G. What is R? Required rate of return. R. Okay. So ಇದು ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅವರೇ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಯುವರ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ is 15% ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವಾಗ ಆರ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 0.15 ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಅಗೈನ್. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇ ನಾಟ್? EPS. E naught means D by E, dividend payout ratio. So EPS into dividend payout ratio multiply ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಎರಡು. ಅದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್. ಓಕೆ ಮಂಜುಳಾ, ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇ ನಾಟ್? ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಡಿ ಬೈ ಇ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಪೇಔಟ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ. ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ದೀಸ್ ಟು. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ದೆನ್ 1 ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಜಿ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ರೇಟ್ ರೈಸ್ ಟು ಎನ್. ಎನ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ 3, 4 ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್. ಅವ್ರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಹೋಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಮೆಚುರಿಟಿ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಮೆಚುರಿಟಿ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಎದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ? ಬಾಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಸೊ ಹೋಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್. ಸೊ ಅಮನ್, ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಮನ್ holds that stock for 5 years. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? 5 ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ. ಸಮೇಷನ್ ಇದ್ರೆ n is equal to 5 ಇದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ 1 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. n is equal to 1 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕದು. n is equal to 2 ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ 3, 4, 5 ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಎಷ್ಟು ಈಸಿ, ಬಹಳ ಬಹಳ ಈಸಿ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಏನು? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಇ ನಾಟ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಇ ಪಿ ಎಸ್, ಡಿ ಬೈ ಇ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಪೇಡ್ ಎರಡು ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ. 1 ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಜಿ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ರೇಟ್ ರೈಸ್ ಟು ಎನ್. ಸಮೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. 1 ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಆರ್ ರೈಸ್ ಟು, ಇದು ಗ್ರೋತ್ ರೇಟ್, ಇದೇನಿದು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ರೇಟ್ 10% ಇಯರ್ ಆನ್ ಇಯರ್. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಾಗಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ತಗೋತೀವಿ? ಜಿ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 0.1 ತಗೋತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಬಹಳ ಈಸಿ ಇದೆ. ಇದಿಷ್ಟೇ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇದಿಷ್ಟೇ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇದು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಬೈ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಇ ಪಿ ಎಸ್ ಇಂಟು ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಪೇಡ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ ಇಂಟು 1 ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಜಿ ರೈಸ್ ಟು ಎನ್ ಹೋಲ್ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ 1 ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಆರ್ ರೈಸ್ ಟು ಎನ್. ಇಷ್ಟೇ ರೀ. ಇದು ಒಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಮುಗೀತು. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಚ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ರಿಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಕಲ್ತ್ ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ರೆಡಿನಾ? ಸೊ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್? ಇ ಪಿ ಎಸ್, ಇ ನಾಟ್ ಇಂಟು dividend payout ratio. How to write that? D by E into 1 plus G raised to N whole divided by 1 plus R raised to N. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮೇಷನ್ ಮರಿಬೇಡಿ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ. ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಬಹಳ ಈಸಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಸೇಮ್ ಇದನ್ನೇ ಇದು ನೋಡಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಬರೆದ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೋದು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿಸ್? PE ratio, price earning ratio. Instead of this, PE ratio, E naught same ರೀ. D by E ಬದಲು P by E ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ನೋಡಿ, ಸೇಮ್ ಇ ನಾಟ್ ಸೇಮ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಪೇಔಟ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ, ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರ್ತದೆ? P by E. ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೇಮ್ ಇದು ಸೇಮ್ 1 ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಜಿ ರೈಸ್ ಟು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ ಎನ್ ಇತ್ರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎನ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಒನ್ ಇಷ್ಟೇ. ಹೋಲ್ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಬೈ 1 ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಆರ್ ರೈಸ್ ಟು ಎನ್. ಇದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಚೇಂಜ್, 1 ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಎನ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಒನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪಿ. ನೋಡಿ, ಸೊ ನಾವು without saying you will write, try to write. So constant growth model, in this model is basic assumption is that dividend will grow at the same rate. If you come across in any cases or a problem where they say a dividend is growing at the same rate, then they're going to use this formula or a model into an indefinite future, that is P naught is equal to D1 into the next year dividend divided by required rate of return minus growth rate. Very, very simple, very easy this model is. But you should remember, dividend will be growing at the same rate for an indefinite period. Illi no selling price ille illa illi, because you will be holding that for an indefinite period. Done. Next model, two stage growth model. What do you mean by two stage? First grow ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ನಂತರ grow ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. Two stage. So for first 3 years there will be increment of 10%, then year on year same ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, we are going to use this kind of model. This is also very easy. I think you can understand, very, very easy. D naught 1 plus G, that is growth rate for the first 2 years. GS, it may be first few years. GS means rise to T, okay, divided by 1 plus R, S rise to T. So the first time period, it may be first 3 years or first 2 years. So that is what T, plus Dn plus 1 divided by Rs minus Gn, required rate of return, then the growth rate of the second period. Gs is the first period growth rate, Gn is the second period growth rate, because it is two stage model, growth model, into 1 plus 1 divided by 1 plus Rs raised to n. So when you are going to use this model, when you find out in the given problem there is two stages, first 5 years may be one growth rate, after 5th year there may be other growth rates. So we're going to use this when we solve some problem, we'll come to know, no worries. And the last model, 3-phase model, last model. Okay, now let's solve this problem. Write down this problem first by reading. Yes, let us take this problem, very simple problem, but we should identify which model we need to use. See, when we understand the given, okay, then we can identify which model can be used. So we need to first understand what is being given in the question. Okay, let me read out and also write down the given, then you'll understand which model need to be used. A researcher study has stated that the rate of return of Abhiathar company due to a capital appreciation and a dividend after making adjustment for the outflow of income is 16.27%. What is this? Growth rate. ಸೊ ಇಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಬರಿತೀವಿ? ಗಿವನ್ in the question. G is equal to 16.27% for the period 2011 and 12. Let us assume that return would continue to grow at this rate for another 4 years. So one clue, 4 years is what? Holding period. So that is not holding period. Actually, for 4 years it will be the same growth rate, that is 16.27. Okay, right. Then what? Let us assume that for next for the recent dividend paid by the company to its shareholder is rupees. What is this? Dividend paid. Dividend paid. We need two things. One is dividend payout, correct? D by E, and even EPS. Remember, 4ith. And EPS how to? E naught is equal to 35 rupees. And P ratio, how much? 4.8. Direct they given. If an investor wants to buy and hold the stock, Abhiyathar stock, for another 4 years, holding period. So here, what is 4? N. N is equal to 4, holding period. What would be the ideal price if is required rate of return? RRR, that is, I can write down here, R is equal to 20%. Okay, the present price in the market is 167. We need to find out whether we are to, okay, buy or sell. First write down the given, right? Now write down the formula. I hope you understood which formula to be used. Write down the formula, then I'll. Yes, one more thing in the given. What is this dividend paid for? Correct, dividend payout ratio, that is D by E is equal to, dividend is 4, earning per share is 35. Correct? 4. See, dividend payout ratio sometimes they give in numericals like this, or sometimes they may give even in percentage. ಈ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 4 rupees ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದಾರಂತೆ. ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಹೌ ಮಚ್ ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ per share is 35. Dividend is 4, EPS is 35, so dividend payout ratio is 4 upon 35, right? So up to this, any doubt? Shall we go with next? So step by, I hope you written the formula. Have you written the formula? So which formula we are going to use? P naught is equal to E naught into D by E, 1 plus G raised to N divided by 1 plus R raised to N. That is summation. Step by step hogana. Step number 1. Please remember. Please step 1. Please write down like this. Step 1. The first part we shall find out. That is, we'll find out E naught D by E. ಇದನ್ನ ಎರಡು ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡೋಣ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು? So what is E naught? What is E naught? 35 into D by E, 4 upon 35. So what happens? This cancel. Answer is 4. Step number 1. E naught D upon E. ಅದಷ್ಟೇ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? There are two parts. Step 1 we found out this, correct? Step 2 we'll understand this part. Then in step 3 we'll find out the right hand part. Okay, So how to do this? First, we found out this. What is the amount? What is the value? 4, 1 plus G. Growth rate 16.27. Rise to. Holding period is 4 divided by. So before that, as it is summation, we need to start with what? 1. 1 plus required rate of return. Huh? 20%. So that is 0.2 rise to 1 plus, same thing it should repeat. How? 4 into 1 plus 0.1627 rise to 2 divided by 1 plus 0.2 rise to 1, sorry, 2. 4 years. So 4 into 1 plus 0.1627 rise to 3 divided by 1 plus 0.2 rise to 3. Last one, 4 into 1 plus 0.1627 rise to 4 divided by 1 plus 0.2 rise to 4. Solve one by one, step by step. Okay, 1.1627 into 4. 4.6508 divided by 1.2. Correct? Correct? Plus. How to solve this? Plus 1.65 plus these two, sum of these two, that is 1.167 raised to 2. Then into 4. That is the answer. I repeat, 1.1627 raised to 2 into 4. 5.4074. Then 1.2 raised to 2. 1.2 into 1.44 plus. Again, 1.1627 raised to 3. 1.1627 into 1.1627 into 1.1627 into 4. 6.287 raised to 1.2 raised to 3 divided by 1.2 raised to 3. 1.728 plus 7.3102 divided by 2.36. Please try to cross check. If you know, okay, that is value 4.3.87 plus 3. Okay, 3.638, 3.5525. Okay, now 525. Okay, add 14.788. Okay, this is the value of this part, and now we need to go with the last but one. Step 3. Okay, here what is this? P ratio. That is P 1 plus G raised to n plus 1 whole divided by 1 plus R raised to capital N. This part we need to go. What is P ratio? 4.8. What is E naught? 35. 1 plus 1 plus G growth rate 0.1627. 4 plus 1 directly, then 1 plus required rate of return. That's it. Now, first 4.8 into 35 into 35. This becomes 1.1627 raised to 5 whole divided by 1.2 raised to 4. First, we need to do 1.1627 raised to 5 multiply 35 into 4.8. 1.1627 raised to 5. 2.12. Sorry, I put it in entire value. 1.162 raised to 5. Okay, into 4.8 into 35. 1.24 raised to 1.2 raised to 4. Multiply this 356.998 divided by 1.2 raised to 4. 2.0736. Divided by 172.15. Step. Now, last step. Step 4. Step 2 14. 14.78 plus 172.15. Extra 1. 186.938. This is the final answer. What is this? P naught. This is P naught. P naught is equal to P naught is equal to 186.938. ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮುಗೀತಾ? We need to conclude whether we need to buy it or we should not buy. So what is the market price? Market value or a market price is equal to 167, which is given in the question. Theoretical value, that is P value, we got it. Now 186.938. What should be our decision? Market price is less than the intrinsic value, present value, then we should buy it. Okay, market value is less than P naught, therefore strategy should be buy. Yes, let us take one more problem similar to the previous problem, which belongs to model second, that is multiple growth model. So first let me read out the question, then solve the problem. Grace and company has common share outstanding in the market with a price earning ratio of 15. So what is this? Can anyone say? Given G is equal to 7%. Yeah. G. No, what is this? Earning ratio is equal to 15. The annual expected growth in earning dividends, and that is G is equal to 17%. The earning per share EPS is 2.5. The dividend payout is D by E. 60% is nothing but 0.6. So what is 4 years? The required rate of return, that is R, is 15%. First let me write down the formula, that is P naught is equal to, can you please help me out to write down the formula? That is first one, E naught into D by E 1 plus G raised to N whole divided by 1 plus R raised to N, that is summation. You should not forget the summation, that is P naught is equal to plus P by E naught okay, 1 plus G raised to N plus 1 divided by 1 plus R raised to N. So this is a different part we need to consider, and this altogether the first part. So let me solve this part, that is step number 1. Step 1, that is E naught into D by E, that is E naught is, what is E naught? E naught 2.5 into 0.6 gives us, please, what is the value of 2.5 into 1.5? That's it, right? So this is step number 1. Right. Step 2. Step 2. So this part, that is 1.5 into 1 plus G is 0.07 raised to 1 plus divided by 1 plus 0.15 raised to 1. Then similarly 1.5, 1 plus 0.07 raised to 2 divided by 1 plus 0.15 raised to 2. So on up to what? 4. 1.5, 1 plus 0.07 raised to 3 divided by 1 plus 0.15 raised to 3, 1.5 raised to 107 raised to 4 divided by 1.15 raised to 4. Please let me know the answer. First this part, 1.07 into 1.5. How much? 4. 1.07 into 1.5. This part 1.605 divided by 1.15. What next? This part 1.717 divided by 1.3225. Okay, 1.837. 2.84, 1.5208. Last 1 point 1.31 1.966 divided by 1.7490. Okay, divide 1.39 1.39 ಅಷ್ಟೇನಾ 95. Okay, next 298. Next 1.20788. 1 point 1 point 124. Okay, 5.022. Okay, last part, step 3. Is this okay? Done? You have to do on your own. ಬರೇ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಬರ್ದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಉಪಯೋಗ ಇಲ್ಲ. What is the next part, please? Can anyone? Step, is it 4? 3. Step 3. Okay, what is the formula? PE ratio into E naught 1 plus G raised to n plus 1 divided by 1 plus R raised to n. So this part. Okay, what is PE ratio? 15 into 2.5, 1 plus GST there. 5, 1 plus required rate of return. So first 1.07 raised to 5, 15 into 2.5, 1.25 raised to, okay, this one 7490, multiply the numerator, huh? 52.575 divided by 1.7490, answer 30.06, 30.06. Okay, now we have to add last step, step 4. What is the answer? Previous one, step, huh? 5.022 plus 30.06. That is nothing but 35.082. This is the final answer. The present value, that is P naught, P naught is equal to, this is the final. Over. That's it.